All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Sooner Surge. Joined with Hunter right now. We're going to go over some post-game thoughts following Oklahoma's 20-6 victory against Cincinnati. To me, the first thing that stood out, first of all, before we really get into this, I'd like to say prayers up to Jaren Kanik. The latest on that was that he's taken to the hospital. So prayers that, everything's okay there. It's a terrible look for Cincinnati fans to be booing when a dude goes down. You're assuming he was faking an injury, which was something that Cincinnati did, I would assume, multiple times over that game. And then the kid that you're booing now has to go to the hospital due to an injury. So prayers to Jaren Kanik that he's okay. But we're just going to go ahead and get into some post-game thoughts, some quick thoughts following the game. To me, the defense won Oklahoma this game. There's no doubt about it. And I think this is the point in the season where I can confidently say the defense is back.
Yeah, this is a game that last year OU would not have won. If you only scored 20 points on the road, you don't win this game in 2022. The Sooners do it today. Really should be a big win, and now it's the uncertainty with the Jaren Tanik injury, like you mentioned. The reports are awful. Initially thought it might be a concussion by the way he went down, and then to find out the blood issue, like it could be a very scary situation. It is, and it could be a situation that sidelines him for a good chunk of the season. So hopefully, prayers up to him. Best wishes that it's as minor as it could be in a situation like that. Be taken out in an ambulance is not what you want to see. The good news on that is OU has depth kind of to fill in for Jaren Kanik, but that's going to be a massive loss that one will probably talk about for weeks to come if it ends up being a injury that sidelines him for a bit, because Jaren Kanik has been fantastic alongside Danny Stutzman. Those two have been a very electric linebacker duo this year.
Jaren Kanik had his best game of his career today. 7 tackles, 2 of them were solo tackles, 1 was a QB hurry. And then Danny Stutzman just continues to literally be everywhere on the field. 13 tackles, a sack, a TFL, 3.5 TFLs actually. He's been very good. And I thought Deshaun McCullough had a lot of really good moments where he looked really good. Now, he did have the play where the tight end burned him. I think that, maybe that's an issue. We saw them on third downs. One of the takeaways I had watching the game was they were putting Kendall Dolby in at Cheetah every single third down that it was an obvious passing down. Unless it was third and short, it was going to be Kendall Dolby. And I think it's good to utilize, Kendall Dolby, because we all know he's a very talented player. Another guy that really stood out, Key Lawrence. He continues to play very good football.
Yeah, Danny Stutzman should win Player of the Week for Big 12. Probably won't happen, 282 days till we're in the SEC, and I now have the countdown going after
that PI call.
Yeah, just the calls throughout the game. The completion that he was out of bounds, that was called completed, like a 22-yard pass, something like that. I don't know how you don't overturn that. The official couldn't even say the ruling on the field because he's stuttering over his words because he's like, wait a minute, I'm lying, and this isn't right, but then says it anyhow. So don't think Stutzman will get the award on that part of the Big 12 won't give it to him. It was very interesting to see Kendall Dolby in at Cheetah, like you were saying, on third downs, because usually it's been Peyton Bowen as of late. On third downs, they're bringing in Peyton Bowen kind of, and it wasn't necessarily Cheetah when they would bring him in. It was more of that nickel position. But it was interesting to see Kendall Dolby on there, and I think he did really good. He had that neutral zone call, which, again, not sure how he was in the neutral zone there. It looked pretty clear that he's behind the line of scrimmage, not an issue. The flag should have been for holding when Rondell Bothroyd still got the sack there, but somehow you're allowed to hold when you play OU. I don't get it. This is game 4 and 4 straight weeks where I've seen holding the entire game and it not get called once.
Yeah, staying on the defense side of the ball, you mentioned Peyton Bowen. He didn't play as much at that position. He played a lot at safety. And they were still, even on third downs, they were bringing him in to play safety, whereas, a couple weeks prior, it was at that Cheetah position. Him and fellow former 5-star, I'm not even going to try to pronounce the last name, but 34 looked really good today again. He just has those moments where you're like, that's a 5-star defensive end. That's a first-round NFL draft pick.
And they're only freshmen. They are 4 weeks into their college careers, and we're talking about how good they are already. That's it's nice to have 5-stars on the defensive side of the ball. I know we have a few coming in this next recruiting class. I'm sure we'll be sitting here next year talking about the same thing of how good 5-stars look on the field. PJ had a great game again. He was getting held the entire time and was still making some havoc. He almost had a strip sack. Emory Jones was able to throw it forward, but I mean, PJ was there. It was close enough that a few guys on the defense were like, wait, let's pick up the ball just in case this could be reviewed. But PJ had a great game. Peyton Bowen had another pass breakup. That was a very good play on the ball. That's what 5-star safety should do, and Peyton Bowen's doing it as a freshman.
Yeah, another defensive back that stood out to me was Kenai Walker. I mean, he made a couple really nice plays. You think about the Billy Bowman interception. Kenai Walker was in there in the backfield. I didn't see – maybe it was just me. I wasn't – in the second half, did you see a lot of Gentry Williams out there? Or
No, I didn't. That was a little weird because I thought he had a good first half. So
I'm wondering if they tried to save him. You know, he's had trouble staying healthy.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's what it was, trying to rotate other guys in.
Yeah, with Gentry, he hasn't played a full game all year, which granted 2 of the games have been blowouts. You're going to go to your backups, but you would think your starting cornerback would be in a 14-point game. He wasn't really in the second half, so that's interesting. But Kenai Walker, another great performance for him. That rotation at the corner spot, I mean, you can't really complain about Gentry Williams not playing because you got Kenai Walker stepping up. Woody Washington, another great game. I talked about it a lot this week leading up to it. Going to have Xavier Henderson to cover, and I mean, he shut him down. Like, really, Woody Washington, I think it was Woody was in coverage on that key pick, correct?
And if Key Lawrence wasn't there to intercept that, Woody would have picked it off.
Yeah, Woody was in great coverage there. At the bare minimum, would have been a bat down. That was another just great play by Key Lawrence. He's had a really good start to the season. Now back-to-back interceptions, or back-to-back weeks with an interception.
Yeah, you mentioned we can't complain about, what Oklahoma's cornerback room looks. One thing I can complain about is the offense. I mean, that was – first of all, let me just say this. I don't believe it's at all on Jeff Lebby. Jeff Lebby, in my opinion, called an incredible game. And he called the type of game where Oklahoma should have went into halftime up 28-3, yet they went in up 10-3. So there was just a lot of mistakes. But I'm more of some people have called me a sunshine pumper. I'm going to focus on the positives. Andrel Anthony is an elite wide receiver. I'll say it. How many weeks has he had 100 yards? I think, actually, I need to check this, but he might have more yards in his first 4 games at Oklahoma than he had in his entire career.
I think he does by now.
Sure he does. He was close last week.
I don't understand how Andrel Anthony was not a factor at Michigan at all. I mean, he's an elite wide receiver. That's the word you use with Andrel Anthony. That deep ball, that catch he made was insane. That was an underthrown ball. A great play made by Andrel Anthony. It's really just been that target on the deep ball. That's been the one that Dylan Gabriel's had some struggles with the deep ball, getting connecting with his receivers. Andrel Anthony, not so much. Like, that's the guy he's connecting with. He can underthrow it. Andrel Anthony's still going to make a play. So that's really been that's the connection I've liked to see the most, is that deep ball to Andrel Anthony, and they finally got it in the third quarter today. I'm sure the word will hear a lot in the post-game press conference from Jeff Lebby. Got to execute better. Yeah, that's the truth. The play calls today were great, like you said. That was a very well drawn up game plan from Jeff Lebby. It just execution was not there. There was a lot of misreads. There was a lot of bad throws. There was a lot of just poor offensive line play. Just the entire offense, it wasn't going the way it should have. They got the 14-point win, got out of a hostile road environment. That's what matters. Again, you got now one more game to get ready for Texas. That's what the big point of the season is that Texas game in Dallas. Dillon Gabriel is going to need to clean some things up. Again, this was a hostile environment. He looked uncomfortable. You got to play comfortable. You got to stay comfortable. I know that bad snap, or not a bad snap, just a miscommunication.
That was a good play by DG to
yeah,
that away.
Yeah. And what I'm saying, he got rid of the ball. That's what matters. He got rid of it. If he would have held on to it for a second longer, he could have made the throw to Farouk, got the first down as well. But he got rid of it. That's one of those things. Either or, there was a few times that he just forced targets that aren't there or dumped off when you shouldn't dump off. I know Stoops was open in the seam a few times.
The overthrow to Farouk.
Yeah, the overthrow to Farouk hurt bad.
Just give him a chance like the Anthony one. But
yeah, I mean, that's one. Farouk was so far past the defender, you can underthrow it, and he's still going to for sure catch it and maybe even score on it. Joel Farouk's just a playmaker.
Yeah, I liked how they used Nick Anderson a lot. With DG, he had to, I'll be honest, he had some moments where I thought he looked pretty good. But then he also just has those moments where you're like, come on, what are you doing? Like the one that he threw backwards to Andrel Anthony. All right, was that Anthony? I'm not sure who it was.
I don't remember who it was. I don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, there's just those moments. It's like, come on. But I think he looked better running the ball today. The touchdown he had, I like seeing him be a little bit more physical when he's running it. And I think he looked comfortable in the run game. The passing game, he looked comfortable until the second there was pressure on him. That's when he starts. But he does. Like, he has the moments where he'll scramble and find a guy. It only happens like once or twice in a game, if that. So I think there's a lot of, and I think this is a good thing, I think there's a lot of teaching moments from Dillon Gabriel's game. A lot of them. If he can, get all that down, get all that figured out, I think he'll be a lot better in the next game.
The good news on the pressure side of things is Cincinnati is a very good front seven. One of the best they're going to face all year. They had 10 sacks going into this game. OU only allowed 1. They're without a starter. Savion Byrd did not suit up today. That was Troy Everett getting the start for the Sooners. They only allowed 2 sacks. So obviously you want to allow 0. The pressure got there, but didn't allow that many sacks. I think it's just overall a really good learning experience. I'm sure the coaches will say that as well. That honestly, the first 3 games, there wasn't much to take away from those games other than maybe SMU. Tulsa struggled today, and I don't even remember who they're playing. I just know they sweep
Northern Illinois.
Yeah, okay. Northern Illinois. They're struggling to win that game. Arkansas State's one of the worst teams in the country. So those 2 of those first 3 games, you can't really take away much from it. So to finally get that road game in Cincinnati against a talented defense, it might be a blessing in disguise to have this struggle sort of game where you only put up 20 points so that as you're preparing for Iowa State this week and then Texas the following week, you know what you need to improve on as the season progresses.
Yeah, I think that's well said. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to our channel. This was just a quick little post-game thoughts. We've got a whole lot more content coming, so make sure you click subscribe, click the notifications, leave us a like. And yeah, that's going to go ahead and wrap it up for this quick post-game thoughts. We'll have a lot more coming your way. Boomer.